I think people aren't scared of the diseases anymore. I think vaccines have been a victim of their own success. Now people read about vaccine side effects and they worry about vaccine safety, and they're not compelled by the diseases anymore. You didn't have to convince my parents to get vaccinated. They were children of the 20s and 30s. They saw diphtheria as a common killer of teenagers. You didn't have to convince people my age, children of the 50s and 60s, to be vaccinated. We have many of these diseases, but young parents today not only don't see these diseases, they didn't grow up with them. So for them, vaccinations become a matter of faith. I think you have to make it clear that a choice not to get a vaccine is not a risk-free choice. It's a choice to take a different and more serious risk, and this is what that risk looks like. Now we're seeing a progressively more dangerous world. There's more measles out there in the United States, more mumps in the United States, certainly tens of thousands of cases of whooping cough every year, and we're starting to see some deaths from whooping cough, and certainly serious sequelae from mumps. It's just a risk that's not worth taking. It's certainly not the risk it was 50 years ago, but it's still a risk, and vaccines have to be very safe in order to prevent that rare risk, but they are very safe. Therefore, a choice to get a vaccine is the right choice. The benefits of vaccines clearly and definitively outweigh the risk for every individual child, assuming there's not a medical contraindication to vaccination. I think a fear of viruses works in favor of vaccines. I mean, so for example, the Enterovirus D68 strain that's spreading now through more than 40 states that have caused children to have not only severe upper respiratory tract symptoms or lower respiratory tract symptoms, but even paralysis, which can be permanent and severe, has heightened people about the fear of what these viruses can look like. And remember, polio is an enterovirus, and polio also, like enteroviruses, cause paralysis. So I think the Enterovirus D68 strain, I think, really does help people appreciate what the vaccines have done for us. I think, this notion that there's an alternative way to get a vaccine, that you can get immunity without being exposed to the natural virus or without being exposed to the vaccine, is a false one. I think it's encouraged in some ways by alternative practitioners, and it has the potential to do a lot of harm. Yeah, I think nobody likes to get shots, and the nasal spray flu vaccine, I think, is viewed as many as something a little milder, and now it is the preferred vaccine for the 2 to 8 year old. I think rotavirus is often seen that way. There's 2 rotavirus vaccines, both are given by mouth, and I think that's also seen as sort of a gentler way to vaccinate. I think that what you're seeing is the natural history of an immunization program. I think that as we're starting to now see these diseases come back a little bit, you're now seeing a heightened awareness for vaccines, and I think rates will increase, and then people won't be scared of the diseases anymore, and rates will decrease, and you'll see these outbreaks come up again, and I think it's just going to be a sine wave like that until the sun burns out.